I'm David Schneider of DRS Law. Thank you for tuning in to our series of instructional videos. Today's video, a little bit about just the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, some of the things that will typically come up in a meeting with me when we go through our estate planning process. One of the very first things that people will tend to ask me is, what happens when I want to sell my home? Yeah, nothing. It's the exact same thing as when the home was not titled to the trust. In this example, the home's owned by the trust. The settlers of the trust sell it. There's going to be hopefully proceeds from the sale. Who are those proceeds payable to? To the seller, in this case, the trust. Where can you deposit a check payable to the trust? In an account owned by the trust. So these assets remain titled to the trust. You're the trustee, you're the beneficiary of the trust, so nothing has changed. You still use the money just as you always would. Another common question: who should we choose to be our trustees? You should choose those persons who you have faith and confidence in. Come hell or high water, these people have your back. Most people will tend to look to family members. This is not a requirement. Okay? You're looking for those persons who you have faith and confidence in that will be there for you. More often than not, it will be some of your family members, but you're not obligated to do this. You want to choose what's right for you. Some family trusts choose your best friend, that person that you know that's always been there. Geography, not overly important when it comes to choosing a successor trustee. Again, it's more about who's got the wherewithal to be there for you. When it comes to choosing a healthcare agent, somebody to help you make healthcare decisions if you can't do it or your spouse can't do it, now geography plays a more important role, because this often requires eyes on, boots on the ground type of decision making. Very, very difficult to interact with hospital staff over the phone. So these are things where you tend to look to people who are closer. Oh, but all of my kids live on the East Coast. Yes, that is an issue that we have to certainly take into account. They may be your best choice, but perhaps there's other choices for other persons. Those are things that we have to examine in the estate planning process. Another frequently asked question: how do I give to my children? When do I give to my children? Well, I understand that you're planning to have your estate passed to your children, and in this example, your children are 13 and 15. Does it make a whole lot of sense to give $1 million to a 13-year-old? We can't do that. Did that idea become any better when that kid turned 18? Probably not. Most of you have probably heard life's two axioms. There's two things that are a constant in life, right? Death and taxes. What most people don't realize is that there's a third axiom. 18-year-olds don't make good decisions. So we have to put plans in place. How will they receive? Well, very often we'll utilize something called a children's trust, which allows our successor trustee to reach in, pull out what might be needed for their health, for their education, for their welfare, but ultimately give them the money over the course of time. I learned a long time ago that maturity comes not just from age, but also from life's experiences. So we might choose to give the child a little bit when they turn 21, a little more when they graduate from college, a little more at 27, balance at 30, something like that, where we bridge the gap from when the state says they're an adult at 18 to a time when we think they're more likely to be able to handle their inheritance. How about one more frequently asked question? David, do I have to title all of my assets in the name of the trust? Well, there's nothing that you have to do, but there's a lot of things you should do. One of them is listen to me and title as many assets as you can in the name of the trust. Well, do I have to title my checking accounts in the name of the trust? You should. Here's why. Number one, the trust handles these questions should you not die, but should you become incapacitated. Literally every financial institution will be more comfortable working with a successor trustee than they will be if they have to work with an agent under power of attorney. Uniformly, banks hate power of attorney. There's more abuses and more problems with this than anything else. And banks like to work with trustees of trust. Number two, of course, is the trust contains a death plan, a distribution plan. And it can distribute these assets to those persons who need it, or, as I had just mentioned, into the children's trust, making certain that those assets are protected for the individuals. I could probably go on a lot longer on these FAQs. If you want to learn more about them, I strongly suggest you take a look at my website. I must have 30, 40 FAQs on there. And please, if there's something you don't see or something you need a little bit more depth on, give me a call, schedule an appointment. I'll be happy to work through any of these issues with you. I'm David Schneider. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this content, please go ahead, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notices when I produce new, fresh content. Thanks for tuning in.